Beyond Time, 1 year adventure. Father and son on a quest for longevity around the world.
So, Alek, Marek, Beyond Time, you guys are doing some amazing things. You're traveling all around the world. You know, I follow you on your social channels. Looks amazing. How did it all start though? You know, where did it start? What was the brain spark that actually made this happen at the beginning?
So from my point of view, I finished high school and wanted to do something else than most of my peers did, which was going to university, all for the same type of studies, which is business. And it just seemed boring. Everybody is doing what the crowd does. So let's do something different. I was open for different new ideas.
Okay.
And there my father came with an idea, let's travel around the world. And we didn't think about the movie at the very first time, but then he got inspired. And
like I was into longevity for the last 8 years.
Okay. So what started the longevity journey for you?
So 8 years ago, I went to an amazing conference called Extreme Future Technologies and Forecasting in San Francisco.
Okay.
And they were talking about the things that are going to change the world for better within the next 20, 30 years. And for me, that was mind-blowing. You know, like usually people think what's going to be in 5 years. The politicians think what was 10 years ago. And there were people investing their time, money into the future. And then I said, hey, I want to be part of that. I want to be the one changing the world for better. And there was a lot about space exploration and also about cryonics and longevity.
Okay.
And I got inspired and decided, okay, first I need to go to longevity to make sure that I live long enough so that one day I will be able to fly to another galaxy.
Right, yeah, because there's obviously a lot of correlation between space travel and longevity, which of course is it's kind of interesting when you speak to people that invest in space and you hear about some of the things that they talk about obviously moon bases and mining asteroids and all of these sorts of things. You kind of think, well, that's kind of really interesting, but that is feels like a long way away from where we are on Earth. Whereas of course longevity is something that we all experience, right? I mean, it's kind of one of those things which we're aware of as individuals. I mean, obviously, Alek, you're young, right? But you must be aware now about longevity as a younger person than a lot of your peers that are the guys that are at university doing the things that they may be doing. What are your thoughts now on longevity? Are you starting already?
Yeah, definitely. So I am aware of my longevity, of my future, and want to live as long as possible because I want to do what I'm doing now, like enjoying every second of my life, living with the present, but just for longer. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we do lots of things together. Okay, it's all the basics like nutrition, eating well, a lot of exercise. We do measurements, like we measure a lot of biomarkers.
Yeah, I get it. But I guess the really interesting thing is, I'm 56 now, and I look back at all the stupid things that I did, right? Especially with my hearing, right? So my hearing's going now, I'm 56, but I did some ridiculous things as a young person. So I didn't have the knowledge that you've got now, right? And you're an individual, right? So you have the knowledge. How would you impart that knowledge to people that are at your age group now, looking at the rest of their lives? Obviously wanting to have fun and party and all of those types of things, but what would your guidance be to people that you go to university with in the future?
First of all, I really try to inspire my friends mostly, but the movie is to inspire not only the inner circle, but like everyone, my age, my father's age, everyone. So the movie is our best tool for promotion, for promoting the whole industry. But what I do now is I try to speak to my friends, to my peers, human language, let's call it, and not just science, because maybe I understand science a bit more than they do because I've been to a few conferences, but they don't. So let's try to speak to them with that simple language and make them understand.
Right. And obviously there's some complex language in this world, right? This longevity world has got some very confusing science and stuff. But let me ask you about, you've looked at a lot of things. You've been to clinics, you've been to labs, you've seen conferences around the world. What would you say are like kind of the top 3 things that you've been amazed about in terms of either the science and the progress of the space?
Oh, it's hard to choose 3 things. Like, we are amazed all the time. Okay, the first thing is we are very happy that longevity community is very inclusive. Like, they treat us as a family. Of course, the fact that it's father and son traveling, it helps. So even now when we're in Singapore, Alek is sleeping over at Andrea's place. So this shows how we are included, as a family. So that's the first amazing part. The second thing is that I think that I started believing more and more in radical life extension. Of course, as we go to conferences, most of the people talk about the basics of longevity, some biohacking spaces, how to increase our lifespan by 5 years, maybe 10 years. But in the middle, as we talk to the scientists, a lot of them believe in radical life extension. Even when we were speaking to Steve Horvath, who is a very serious person, and he's not telling crazy stuff. And when we asked him about longevity escape velocity, is it going to happen? He said, yes, it's going to happen. It's pure math. It's just a question of when. And he also added that, as we can observe with AI, like 2 years ago, if we were talking about AI, we would say, oh, it's science fiction. And now it's the reality. Okay, it's still large language models, but, big AI is following. So he said that the same thing can be with longevity, so that maybe we are much closer than we think we are. So this is something that is really close to my heart. And this is something that we also want to show in our movie, just to show the whole view, helicopter view on longevity industry. That there are things that we can all do now, like lifestyle changes. There are things, the upgrades, biohacking upgrades, like clinics and, some technology and some special treatments. But there is also hope for more, not just 120, but beyond.
Okay, that's interesting. So your definition of longevity goes beyond 120, right? So
yes.
Okay. So how would you, Marek, because obviously you've been around, and Alek, you've been around in the industry now. This is something that I'm quite sensitive to. There are people that are conservative about why they are in the longevity industry. They just want people to live the same lifespan, but just in a more healthy condition, so they have a compressed morbidity. For them, that's sufficient. And people that are talking about immortality, they're maybe not serving the industry as well as they could be, because they're bringing sort of some binary thinking to that. So what are your thoughts on that? Now you're part of the industry. What do you think? I mean, do you feel that we need to be more sensible in the way that we speak to the outside world, or should we be really expanding and telling people that this is the potential for immortality?
I think we should give people hope. Like, we shouldn't say, hey, we can certainly say you're going to live 500 years, because the science is not there now. But what we can tell them, just live healthy for another 20 years and let the scientists work on the breakthroughs, so that in the next 20 years, you will get another 20 years. And this seems feasible. And this is not talking science fiction, like this is something people can feel. So I would like scientists not to say, hey, it's impossible to go beyond 120, because I'm sure it's possible. And even Steve Horvath can confirm that. So let's just not cut their dreams, but speak the truth. Today, we can live to 120, but in 20 years, it might be 150, maybe more. So let's keep people hopeful.
Exactly, because at first, when my friends asked me, so what is that longevity? What are you doing even? And I said, my father wants to live up to 500 years. And they were like, oh, this is woo. But now, as they ask me again, I say, for now, it's almost all about prolonging our healthspan while we live to 100 or 120 years. And if radical life extension comes, then we will benefit from that. But now let's focus on what is here and
taking into account the exponential growth of technology, and now AI joining the race, like it's almost 100% sure we'll get much further. So, let's just keep our minds open.
Yep, of course. And there are obviously regulatory pathways in place that protect some of the new science getting into market too early. You've been around the world though, right? So you've been to different parts of Europe and you're in Asia Pacific as we speak today. What have you seen, you've been around your travels, that is in terms of the scientific progress that's made you comfortable and confident that things are happening in this industry now?
One of the things was for sure us paying a visit to In Silico in Shanghai, because the advancement in technology in their lab is just mind-blowing. Like almost everything is operated by AI and robots. So yeah, that was inspiring for me.
I love that too. And actually, most of the people who speak about AI robotic labs and about In Silico, they think, okay, they will work on super amazing drugs or drugs repurposing. And actually, my vision would be, hey, let's have this kind of lab, AI robotic lab, in every research center, in every hospital, in every university, and let's just speed up the research. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
So this is something that is really giving hope, and we also want to show it. And the other thing is that a lot of these radical life extension tools that might be coming, some of them are already here, like gene therapies. Okay, they are not yet available to the public. They still need to be tested on thousands of people. But then we have Liz Parrish, who is testing everything on herself, and she checks her biomarkers, and she can say like how it's working and if it has any drawbacks or not. So people think it's science fiction, and it actually is not. Like it's here. We can touch it. We still have to wait.
Yeah.
And I think the same thing is with 3D bioprinting. Like it's still ahead of us. We're planning to go to Cambridge, where they have advanced science on even printing muscles on robot arms. So we want to see that. But I know that 5 years ago they printed the first living heart, functional. Okay, it was small like for a rabbit, but it was functional. So in 10 years we're going to get our spare parts. So why not be hopeful?
Yes, of course. I mean, no doubt. I personally am a committed believer in all the work that's going on here. Obviously, our position is that we look at the realities of where the science is and where the finance is, and so on. But your experiences have been very much experiential, right? You've been out there living and breathing it. You've been to clinics. You've seen the labs that are out there. Let me ask you what's left. You're in your year of filming now, right? So you mentioned Cambridge. Is that Cambridge, UK or Cambridge in
Cambridge, UK.
Oh, okay, right. That's great. Well, the Brits are doing something we like to hear about. But what else is happening for you this year? Where are you going next before you start going into the editing room?
So now, after Singapore, we go for a couple of days to Malaysia, and then we go to the biggest research center, which is California and US. So it's like Boston, Seattle, New York, and so on. And we look forward to that. And there are a lot of amazing people there. And from, radical life extension and longevity basics. So I can't wait to meet them all. And we also plan to go to Easter Island.
Ground Zero rapamycin.
Yeah,
cool.
So,
that's great.
And in terms of science, we still need to learn more about cosmetology, which I think is also part of longevity, and especially skincare, because this is the biggest organ that we have to take care of.
Okay.
And I know that there are also some startups using AI to help with skin, so I like to learn more about that.
Yep.
Then it's especially in UK, it's nanobiotechnology and 3D bioprinting, which is super exciting for us. And of course, I can't wait to talk to George Church about all the genetic therapies and all his companies. I don't know, like 100 of them.
He's pretty busy. Yeah.
And we also plan to meet some biohackers because we really want to show, the overview and different perspectives. So we are already set up with Ben Greenfield in the state of Washington, somewhere in the woods. But also we're planning to meet Brian Johnson, and now setting up the meeting. And yeah, like let's just show everything what we got there and let people choose.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of our journey, I created a longevity map where I put these 3 branches of longevity. And now as we travel, we're filling in the blanks. So I hope that at the end, like we can also share it with everyone also on Longevity.Technology. What is the map? And let people choose. And usually when my friends ask me, okay, so what should I do for my longevity? I usually give them the map and say, okay, do everything you can for another 20 years to take care of your health. And then in the meantime, the scientists will find a solution to live longer.
Good. So let's talk about Beyond Time. So you're going to be wrapping up your filming this year, going into the editing suites. I don't envy you that. I bet you've got tons of footage, right? You've got to try and get all that together. When can we expect to see this, and how would we see it? Will it be a series, a film, or are you still working that out at the moment?
A bit of everything.
Yeah, so the plan is that first there will be a movie just to show a little bit of everything and to inspire. And then it will be followed by a series where we could have like short episodes going into different parts of longevity. So we finish our quest in August, and then we will be editing for at least 4 months. And we can't wait to see the movie, and all our friends that saw the trailer, they say, oh, when is it going to be?
Yeah.
So we can't wait. But in the meantime, we also plan on starting sharing some glimpses to our travels, who we meet, what we learn. So we'll be sharing that either on television or portal like yours, so that people can start getting inspired. And I think that like it's amazing what you're doing. Like you're putting on your portal a lot of information that people can search, learn about, and go deeper and deeper. But I also believe that people need a story, because some people are geeks and they can spend hours on reading a lot of articles.
Just research it.
And some people just need to watch something and just, even go exercising and watch an episode, or watch, father and son traveling around the world and meeting some scientists so that they can talk about it. So we do it to inspire people. We don't do it for money. We just want to reach as many people as possible with a great message. So whoever can help us also in the media industry, we're open to share our content just to inspire as many people as possible.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, we all need guidance, right? And of course, it's a complex industry. And even as somebody that's in the industry, I find it complex. So you'll be doing, obviously, as you say, a movie that covers everything, but maybe then specific guidance on supplementation or exercise or whatever it may be, which is great. So yeah, I mean, obviously looking forward to seeing it. So Marek, Alek, so thanks for joining us today. It's great. Looking forward to seeing you.
Let's inspire through experiencing and through entertainment. That's our goal.
And we do hope to see you again and again on our quests for maybe it will be the Easter Islands.
Oh, good. Well, look forward to that, guys. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Phil.
Thank you. A pleasure.
Great.
Beyond Time, 1 year adventure. Father and son on a quest for longevity around the world.